And we have 13 living founders, 8 of whom are in the room. And so I'm going to start off with asking the founders, start with founder Simpson so everybody knows, just give us the name.
I'm Robert Simpson. It's called Tennessee during my college days, and was probably the smartest guy in the group.
That still holds true.
Tell us your name and something about you, okay.
I'm James Hill from Connecticut, New York, Connecticut. I went to Morgan on a scholarship, basketball. And among all these great guys that founded the organization.
I was a basketball player.
From Monroe, so are you?
Hello, gentlemen. I'm from Baltimore, Maryland. I'm a physical education teacher for 42 years. And these guys are my life, my love, and we look out for them. Amen. This is the way we look at it. And we've always known something's wrong with one, something's wrong with all. And we check on each other, see how we're doing. Those are the kind of things that you do. You really love, you really feel. As you can see in my voice, the expression that there's a sincerity when I say it. And this is what we need among black people. We feel something instead. And our young people don't understand that. And I think that our founders, one of them, we want you to look out for one another. And to tell these young folks, you go back to your campus, you who are in your community, to make sure that you tell these young folks, white folks don't tell each other the numbers that you're doing. Over nothing. You know what I mean? And the things that they can do if they let themselves be there. And we're working on that as part of our, what you would say, our theme. Our president wants us to do a fellowship with these young people. Like we urge chapters done and get these young men, somebody that they can look up to and to show them the right way to lead. And you think about it, don't just leave here today and go away and just go back to your job. You see a young man, take him under your wing, and let him know, hey, somebody cares about you. This is why I'm talking to you now. So that's all I have to say.
Amen.
That's a tough one to follow. My name is Barry Sims. Obviously, I went to Morgan also, and was part of the group here that founded Conclave. I'm originally from Baltimore, and talked to some people here that spent some time there. Went to City College, then to Morgan. I was a physical ed major. Sort of got there, not sure how I got there. I guess basketball is what took me there. I wanted to play, and I didn't go there on a scholarship. I was a walk-on, and I got to say that sort of changed my life. Certainly didn't go to the NBA, but without basketball, I wouldn't have been in Morgan either. When you graduated, you wouldn't have had the lifestyle that I had. So I'm a proponent of education. As I said, I was a phys ed major. I taught for 3.5 years in Baltimore City, and then I went to work in corporate. I went to work for Eastman Kodak. I was there for 28 years, and I did some teaching, instructing, lecturing there. So I guess education has been a part of my life forever. Laced in some sales in there as well. I do some of that now, and to echo what Monroe said, education is very important. We do have a tendency to hurt ourselves sometimes, but certainly glad to see that our current president has said and seems to be doing something about education. And as a service organization, I guess that's what we're all about. So So I do this individually, working with students now, trying to help them with the college planning. I work with parents, counselors, teachers, and of course the students. So again, the focus is education. I'm certainly glad to be here. And I said without basketball, I wouldn't have been in school, but without these guys too, because we were all supportive of each other. And truth be told, we, as they say, carried the stick sometimes. Meaning if we didn't have a place to stay, we found somebody's room who was close to us and they supported us. We needed money. So there's a bond here that's difficult to really explain other than we were friends and this is what became of our friendship.
Charlie Johnson. I started Morgan in 1960. I was an educator for 34 years. Charlie was an assistant principal. Money and I go way back because we went to high school together. We graduated from Dunbar High School in Baltimore, Maryland. And just as back then as we are today, we are at a crossroad. You know, so many of our black youth find it a badge of honor to be incarcerated over foolish things. Especially we have in Baltimore, killing each other over trivial things and not seeing the value of education. We're playing right into the whole thing that we fought against. Keep them dumb and down on the farm instead of trying to expand your mind. That no one tells you everyone is capable of learning. If you can teach a dog tricks, you can teach the human mind to do wonders. And as black men, we have to step forward. As we stepped forward for 40 years ago, fighting segregation. We were on a college campus, and there was a movie theater we weren't allowed to go in. There was a head company we weren't allowed to eat in. We could work there, but you couldn't eat. When people would go in dirty, we would be clean, and they would refuse to serve. And my parents coming from the South, education was stressed. I didn't have a choice because my father told me I was going to school. And your parents told you that was it. There was no nonsense. And I would like to see the role of the black man increase as far as his family and looking out for his family. Because anyone can make a baby, but it takes a man to raise a family. And I'm proud to be honored to be here today and see young men still pushing, still having a goal of achieving something.
Thank you, brother.
I'm Barry Hampton, better known as Hampi, Mount Fair High class of 1960, graduated in 65 from Morgan State, and just rounding up these 7 gentlemen. As of 10 days ago, we had all 13 of us accounted for, including Harry Payne's sister, who was at Howard, and Harry was in Morgan as a wrestler. We were trying to get her to come up to sit for Harry Payne. Since then, Nathaniel Parham, as Vic said, will not be with us. Glenn Brown, he's been on for the last couple of years, so we stay very close with him, do conference calls once a month. And Dave Nesbitt had a business thing that came up, he just called me Tuesday. As far as I know, Dr. Walter Goodwin from Plainfield, New Jersey, and Woodrow Williams from Glassboro, who was originally from Philly. He comes up to the Penn Relays every year, so I believe he might still be in the area, and before we finish, they might walk in the door here. But I'm just glad to be with this gentleman, and just a short story, I was just reflecting back, when I first came to Morgan, we had a singing group, Raymond Clark and I, David Nesbitt and all, so we could sing. We had when I was in high school. So my second week of school, one of the guys in the group who was an upperclassman asked me to come over to the upperclassmen dorm to practice. Now, I was a freshman. You weren't allowed in the upper class dorm, but I didn't know about all that. So I went over there looking for him, you know, to practice. And a couple of these football players caught me in the room, caught me in the hallway. Where's your beanie? Man, I'm not wearing no beanie, man. I'm a transfer from Hampton. I wasn't a transfer, I was a freshman. This guy played football. He's like 6'4", 230. He's gonna make me wear a beanie, man, you know. Now, for some reason, even though he was big, I was like 6 feet, 135 pounds, soaking wet. For some reason, I wasn't afraid of him, because the way we were raised is not the size of the dog in the fight, the size of fighting the dog, right? So he was determined to make me wear a beanie, so he ushered me in the room, and he's working me over pretty good, you know what I mean? But I wouldn't let him show it, because that's just the way we were trained. In the meantime, he's talking about giving me these forearms, man, you gonna wear a beanie in here. In the meantime, the guy that I went to see, he came in the room, you know, and broke everything up and all. So he said, "You're gonna wear a beanie, man." I said, "I'm not wearing a beanie." 2 weeks later, Morgan played Maryland State Eastern Shore, and had a guy by the name of Roger Brown from Nyack, New York, was 6'6", 270. Remember, this guy was beating up on me with 6'4", 230. And I noticed watching the game, the guy that was beating up on me was afraid of Roger Brown. Roger Brown was running over him every play. So I went down on the wall, started hollering, "You big sissy," because I was hurting. Remember when you beat up on me? I ain't have nothing to lose then, man. I'm sitting there hurt. I said, "I'll be damned, you big sissy." You know, beat up on me because I was what, 6 feet, 130 pounds? So he looked over on the sideline, but the football players came to get him and said, "Man, the brother's right, man. Leave him alone," right? Make a long story short, Two years ago at Morgan's homecoming, right, I heard this guy coming towards me, and he called my nickname Hand Pie, so I knew it had to be somebody from school, right? But he had had a stroke years earlier. I didn't know it at the time. So as he approached me, man, right, he had picked up a lot of weight, and he was bent over because he was on a cane, okay? So when I looked at him, I was taller than him. You know the first thing I said? "I can take this brother." I almost went off, man. "Make me wear a beanie now?" So he was grabbing on me, talking about how close we were in school, man. I said, "Close, this nigga coming." This brother tried to kill me, man. Okay, and when he was leaning on the cane talking to me, man, I tell you to God, man, don't take the wrong expression. I just wanted to kick that. So I finally hugged the brother, man. You know what I mean? And I felt much better. So I don't know what the hell that did for y'all, but it made my day. I'm all right
now. My name is Raymond Clark. Sports, in high school, honorable mention, All-State. Went to Morgan, football scholarship, made a little end, you know. Never had the desire to play pro ball, wasn't interested. When I graduated from Morgan, I went to work for the Baltimore City planning department. And I got promoted from the planning department to assistant to the director of the Maryland State Planning Commission. Then worked in the pharmaceutical field, in the marketing aspect, worked for a Burton company, Broadway at that particular time, which is Broadway, New Jersey. And then came the time for black men to go into that black entrepreneurship. And then my brother and I hooked up a contract with Pathmark and ShopRite and got into the maintenance aspect of it. And then after the invasion of the Hispanics into our communities, which they were downgrading prices a whole bit, my brother and myself and my nephew, we have a barbershop that's open from 6 in the morning to 12 in the night. Incidentally, I'm from Plainfield, New Jersey. Right? I'm the type of brother that shows a lot of love. If I think something's not correct, I'm going to speak on it. And when it comes to food, I love this brother. Okay? I also have another G. I'm from the ghetto. You understand? And my dad and moms would always teach us, never say you wish. The only kind of wish is liquid wish, and you can buy it in any market. Okay? And you know, we have brothers and then we have brothers. So you can understand where I'm coming from. Straight up guy. I just keep it real. I have a lot of love for all of you. I'm very proud of this organization. I also incorporated this organization. Okay? All right? Because see, you know, our youth, the young ones, they're lost. So anything that we can do to promote the welfare of all mankind is greatly appreciated. very much. It's a pleasure. Amen.
You've heard me plenty of times, so I'm sure some of the things that you're going to hear from me, some you've probably heard before. But I got my nickname is Johnny C. I think Hilly gave me that nickname. Either Hilly or Money. You know, I went to Morgan in actually 1959 on football college. I think I played a little bit of everything, basketball, at one point. Didn't know what I was doing. Never got pinned, but I can remember one match against Howard University. This guy was a champ. I said, ain't no way in the hell I'm going to beat this guy. So I had to do something to get myself disqualified because I wasn't going to get pinned. I headbutted him, you know, of course I got disqualified. But I didn't get pinned. Vic and I laughed about when he looked at my beginning and found out that I was born on duck pond. And my son kids about that all the time. And I was born on Gallup duck pond, and my dad worked there for years. My mom did too. And you know, and I'm telling you, that was back in the early 40s with outside bathroom and no running water, no electricity. You know, and it was tough. And I can remember when I started kindergarten, we had to walk 3.5 miles to school. You know, there were no buses. And no matter what the weather was, we had to walk. You know, and I was always amazed by my mom, who, I don't know how she did it, because she worked 6 days a week, but every morning we had a hot meal. And every evening when we came home from school, we had a hot meal. You know, I'm talking about rolls, biscuits, the whole 9 yards. And when we woke up in the morning, all of our clothes were fresh. She never allowed us to go to school with fresh clothes. And God bless her, you know, she passed away at 98 years old, but how she did that, I just couldn't understand how she did it, but she did it. I graduated from Morgan with a degree in sociology in 1964. I worked as a probation officer in Baltimore for 8 years, and I married. In fact, my first wife, Troy's mother, was our first queen, Connie McCroy, and that's my son right there. She passed away. It's been 20 years. She walked into that cafeteria with us and put her college career on the line because, you know, back in the 60s, we weren't accepted. So for us to walk in, and I think we took the captain table over first, didn't we? So wherever we said we weren't supposed to be there, but we marched, I'll never forget that night. We marched in, we all had black slack on. I don't know where we got these black suits from back then, because we didn't have no money. Probably stolen, I don't know. But anyway, Connie led us in to that dormitory, to that cafeteria. And then we just moved forward, you know. I mean, when you talk about brothers, I had 3 brothers, I have 1 brother still living. These guys are my true brothers, man. You know, 40 years ago, over 40 years ago, man, and we're still in love with each other. I mean, do we argue and fight? Sure we do, right? You know, but not as much as I argue with my own brothers, you know. But anyway, I moved on to become an assistant principal in Philadelphia School District. And football coach, I coached football for 30 years, and I coached track for 30 years, and I coached basketball for 30 years. I coached my son, who went on to University of Maine, where I didn't want to go, but he did. He's so damn far away. Mm-hmm. But I never missed a game. He went on to graduate, went to the Marine Corps, and played professional football in the World Football League. And I'm very proud of him. I'm very proud of my godson, Vance, who's also a Groove. My son-in-law is a Groove. I remarried, had a daughter who was an All-American basketball player too, just went into the Hall of Fame in Suffolk County. 2 grandsons, 2 grandchildren. My grandson is going to be a football player. I know his daddy's 285, and he's 9 years old and weighs 115 with size 9 shoe. I'm sure he'll be a Groove, but if he goes any other way, he can have a problem with his grandfather. But, you know, Vic is looking at me telling me, hurry up, sit down. I'm going to tell you like don't rush me. Remember what Jimmy Galvano said, right? Phenomenal. But, you know, I'm gonna end it by saying, like I said, I'm very proud of this organization. I had 6 tough years, guys. You remember, some of you, I came in a wheelchair 5 years ago. I had cancer and didn't think I was gonna make it. But I promised you guys that I was gonna come back that following year, that I would be in that wheelchair. And I walked into that conclave, and I wasn't in a wheelchair. 6 months ago, I went to the doctor, and the cancer's gone. I don't have to go back. It will not return. So I'm very happy about that. Unfortunately, I'm going to just say this and I'm done. My wife just recently had a stroke, and I said it in summer, you probably heard it. I want you to pray for her, that she regains her health, and she just promised me that she's going to come here tomorrow morning with me to pray for her. So I've had a full life, I really have, and I always say very proud of this organization, and very proud of my brothers. And I love them, and I'll love them forever. No question about that.